This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com.
Whoa. Don't squeak at me. That means my speaker's too loud. I have monitor speakers now. For who? I don't know. Me, I guess. In case there's anybody here ever other than me, they'll be able to hear what's going on. It's really so that I can walk away to like fill up a water bottle and know where we are in the progress of the song, that I have speakers instead of just headphones. So if I walk away, there's a song playing, I can hear, I got to go upstairs or something, I come back down, I can hear that the song's still going, I feel good. But if I leave it up too loud, it gives us feedback. That's the first feedback I think we've had on the show. All right, it's Writer Radio. What's up? It is Friday, for real this time. That's the second day in a row that I played the song Friday by Joe Jackson right before the show started. It was like, I don't know, 28 minutes into the show yesterday when I realized it wasn't, in fact, Friday. It was Thursday, but it felt like Friday because it was football season. There was an NFL game last night, which was awesome. And it was fun and exciting and crazy. It was a crazy game to start the NFL season between two, one team that's thought to be great and one team that's thought to be terrible. Division matchup makes sense that it was tight, even in Philly, but Dallas held their own. Before starting the show today, I Googled the word spit, because I have a feeling we'll dwell on that for a few minutes. And if you just Google spit, it gives you top stories. Well, first it gives you the Wikipedia page for a card game called Spit, a card game of the shedding family for two players. It's a form of competitive patience. Competitive Patience is a good name for a podcast or an album or a band. Competitive Patience. Anyway, the game is played until all the players' cards are gone as a close variant known as Speed. Spit appears to have originated in the UK in the 1980s. But if you just Google Spit, the following three headlines will show up. I'm going to hit more news because I want more headlines because these are good. That's what happens. We're one... now I got to go back. We're one game into the NFL season. We were 4 seconds into the NFL season, and we had controversy. So here are the three headlines that I see. When I Google the word spit, Dak Prescott explains his version after new video emerges in Eagles Spitgate. That's a New York Post headline. Yahoo headline, spitting is childish, in quotes. In Cowboys-Eagles opener, Dak Prescott and Jalen Carter exchange injected early juice into game. Get it? Early juice? Because they're spitting on each other. And then Dak Prescott, I was not trying to spit on Jalen Carter. If I hit more news, we'll get dig Dak Prescott spit first. What new video shows about Jalen Carter incident. We've got Dak Prescott. Jalen Carter ejection, unfortunate. I wasn't trying to spit on him. Today.com. Eagles, Jalen Carter ejected for spitting on Cowboys Dak Prescott. AP News. Eagles, Jalen Carter apologizes following ejection for spitting on Cowboys Dak Prescott. New York Post, we already did. NFL.com. Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter ejected before playing snap after spitting on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. NBC News. Eagles, Jalen Carter ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott 6 seconds into NFL season. That's the best part. It was 6 seconds in. Eagles, Jalen Carter ejected after spitting on Dak Prescott is the New York Times headline. That's the most official way to put it. No jokes. No jokes about early juice being put into the game. There's a button I can hit for full coverage. We got more spit-themed headlines if we want. Eagles, Jalen Carter has remorse for spitting on Cowboys Dak Prescott, but how will he be judged by it? Will NFL suspend Jalen Carter for his spitting incident? I saw a thing on the screen. So I was out last night. We had a meeting, and by meeting, I mean a bunch of guys drinking beer, watching football, while talking about youth basketball. It was sort of a meeting. It's a meeting. It's a meeting in that we all agreed to be at the same place at the same time to talk about a certain thing, but we also agreed, knowing full well that the NFL season was starting and knowing full well that they sell beer and chicken wings and stuff at the place. So it was a meeting, but, I'm sorry, honey, I have to go to the bar. I'm on the board. Like that kind of thing. One of those. So it was great. It was great. The NFL season is underway, and it was electric. The game was awesome. Super fun. I mean, it chilled out in the second half, and they had the lightning delay and all that stuff, but just offensive explosion, back and forth, and an ejection 6 seconds into the game. I had not yet looked at the television. I kind of had my back to it. It's like sports bar type of thing, so I'm kind of sitting so I could talk to everybody, but the screen everybody else is watching is kind of behind me, and I could see another one over there, but I don't know. I wasn't paying attention yet because the game hadn't really started, and the first time I looked at the screen was because somebody said, "Did he get ejected?" And I turned and watched as Jalen Carter was being escorted up the tunnel, and then they showed the replay of him spitting at Dak Prescott, and like not in his face. When I hear ejected for spitting, I thought, as I drool, I'm almost spitting on you right now. Excuse me. Okay. I thought like spitting in the face. That seemed like that's ejection material. Spitting on someone's shirt, I don't know. I have 3 sons. That happens to me 4 times a day. That someone spits on me accidentally. This was not an accident. It was certainly intentional. Then they had the video to go back. I just found myself wondering when and how spitting became like the most insulting thing you can possibly do. Because people do it all the time, just not at someone. So it's something that you do. Like if I sneeze on you, if I intentionally sneeze in your face, I feel a sneeze coming on, and I sneeze right in your face, you would be less offended. You'd hate me. Don't get me wrong. You'd be like, that's disgusting, and you're gross, and control yourself, sir. But you wouldn't take it as an insult. You just take me as a moron, right? If I sneezed, and that's way grosser to me, because there's like a big mass of saliva combined with maybe like snot could be involved. It's slimy. It's gross. Like that's way worse. But as far as I know, you can't sneeze on command. I wonder if people can sneeze on command. Whether people could just control their burping. I'm not sure. Sneezes are always, at least in my mind, assumed to be unintentional. So you can't get mad at somebody for sneezing in your face. But I would much rather have somebody spit on my shoulder than sneeze in my face. And I don't think you'd get ejected from an NFL game for sneezing, in part because it is considered to be an involuntary action. But somehow we have demonized the process of spitting and made it into like the most insulting thing you can do. And I'm not against it. This is just an observation. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But like, that's the thing. Like, it starts fights, right? Maybe it was invented as a reaction to handcuffs. Like maybe that's what spitting in the face is for. And this, again, was not in the face. And there's video that Dak Prescott did some weird thing where I guess I'll read his explanation. I'm just assuming you guys saw the game. If you didn't see the game, I'm trying to paint the picture. 6 seconds in, the Eagles' defensive tackle was thrown out of the game for spitting. Prior to that happening, Dak Prescott had just spit, but supposedly not at the guy. I don't know. It was weird. All right. So here's the Dak Prescott explanation. If it doesn't make me sign up for 6 months and subscribe to read the article like it seems like it's doing. But let me see if I can get past this. Register my account. No. All right. We'll skip this one. We'll find a different version of the exact same story. Enough with the paywalls, people. AP is not going to charge me, but I want the Dak part. That's the same one. All right, I'll just pick a random one that will work, and we'll see what it says. Nope, that one's no good. I want the full story. I want an explanation. I got no explanation. I went out. I watched the game. The game ended. I came home. I went to sleep. I woke up, and all I'm thinking about is Dak Prescott spitting, and then Jalen Carter spitting, and then being ejected from the game. It was a fun game. The other thing I'm thinking about as far as football is concerned is that for the first time, my kids are involved in fantasy football. And because I was going out for a meeting / to watch a football game, the last thing I did before I left was brought a laptop into the kitchen and sat there and made sure everybody was all set for Thursday Night Football. And I explained to them, like, they don't know anything. Kids are so dumb. Man, they don't know anything at all. their first time in fantasy football. I'm like, oh, you got to get your Thursday players in. Like, wait, what? Oh, I have to make my lineup right now? I'm like, well, no, you just have to decide on your Thursday players. And Nate wanted to play a guy because it was his only guy that he had tonight, and he thought he could get points tonight and then put guys, and he just didn't understand the lineup process. But I explained you have to make a decision before the Thursday game on whether you want your Thursday guys in or out. And Nate has 3 teams now. He's never had a team before. Now he's got 3. His big move, and this is, I feel good as a dad. As a dad, he said, hey, we got to get this done. And his big move was on 2 of his 3 teams, he put in Javonte Williams as the flex player on his team. And then, I don't know, it felt like a minute into the game, Javonte Williams got in the end zone, and then he got in again. And it was awesome because it's like his 3rd or 4th running back, and he just had a feeling. It's not even a feeling. I think he just wanted to have a guy playing. He's never experienced fantasy football. He finally experienced a draft, and now he's never experienced rooting for a guy in a game you don't really care about. So I think he just wanted to do that, but it worked out great for him. So, like, I'm the dad of the year for bringing up Thursday football, getting him involved, and then letting him put a guy in that scored 2 touchdowns for 2 of his 3 teams. For Nate, he only played for the Cowboys, but he twice got in the end zone, and it counted twice on 2 of his 3 teams. So that was pretty cool. The spitting thing, I don't understand. It's gross. No one likes it. But we have, in fact, it's like drawing a sword. Like, what is the comparison? Because it's assault. I know I've seen that. I don't know if that's in movies or if it's on TV or it's just something people yell as they're getting arrested or whatever. But spitting is considered assault, and I would contend it's not. I mean, there was a time roughly 5 years ago when that seemed like the worst thing you could do. When we were all going to die because of COVID, remember that? And your saliva was the grossest thing that existed. And it's still, I mean, it's not great. But I find it interesting that, like, there's talk of, will he be suspended? Will Jalen Carter be suspended for this? I'm not going to say non-incident because it's not cool. Like, I don't want people doing that. I don't want people in the league, thinking that it's okay, or people watching the league thinking it's okay. But also, he didn't pull a knife. So, kicked out of the game, okay. Suspended? Let's see, where's that headline? Do I have, that had to be one. Will they suspend him? NBC Sports. All right, will NFL suspend Jalen Carter for his spitting incident? This is Mike Florio, who I like. During Thursday's PFT Live, I said Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter has been a model citizen since entering the NFL 3 seasons ago. That changed before the first offensive snap in the opening game of the season when he was ejected for spitting on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. The next question is whether he'll be suspended. Discipline is always determined after the dust settles on the game. It's possible the league will decide to take further action. One factor will be, we're told, the manner in which Carter handles the situation after the game. If he's anything other than fully contrite, the league may decide to send a message stronger than the de facto 1-game suspension Carter received by being sent to the showers without playing a single play. As one source pointed out to PFT, the most talked about topic of the offseason with clubs and players was, quote, respect for the opponent. So I was out watching the game. You can't hear anything. But they had a quote about this on the screen. It didn't occur to me that it was from Florio, but it probably was. He's the one kind of scouting out what's going to happen from here. As one source pointed out to PF, I already said that. For Carter to display the ultimate disrespect, that's what I mean. That's the ultimate disrespect. I don't think that's the ultimate. You could do worse. Like if you told me someone was going to ultimately disrespect me, the most disrespectful thing he possibly could to me, and then you told me he spit on my shoulder, I'd be like, I think you could do worse. I think you could do more disrespectful things. Anyway, the league may decide that something more than an ejection is needed to send the right message to Carter and to the rest of the league. I don't know. They won the game, which is good. Otherwise, we would have had a really ugly conversation in about 10 minutes with our senior Philly correspondent, John Fuller. I locked him in as a guest on the show just before kickoff. Jalen Carter thing hadn't happened yet, so that's how early in the game it was. They're about to start. Our meeting was about to start. And I texted John and said, I would like my Philly correspondent at 10:30 tomorrow, please. And he said, yes, sir, or something like that. And I almost wrote, regardless of outcome. I don't know what the point spread was yesterday, but Philly was clearly the favored team. And early on, it was a little dicey. But that's what happens in divisional games. They're closer than you want them to be. It's what happens in season openers. You're not as ready as you think you are. You're still dwelling on the past where you won the Super Bowl last year. Like, there's just a lot going on. And they got their heads on straight and came out just fine. But there were some weird things happening in that game. It was fun. It was great to have the NFL back, and interesting/crazy to have it start 6 seconds into the game with an ejection of one of Philly's better defensive players as he gets yanked out and marched down the hall for spitting on Dak Prescott. And it just led me to... There's a part of me that wanted to do a full deep dive research-wise on the context of spitting and its, I don't know, the way that it is equated with disrespect. They call it the ultimate sign of disrespect in one of these articles. The ultimate sign of disrespect. I don't feel like listing things that I think are worse. But you can think of a lot of things that are more disrespectful than spitting. I know it's not cool. It's funny to me, or interesting to me, I guess, that little action that all of us are capable of doing is considered the most disrespectful thing you can do. Just sort of, when we're not thinking about it. If you start thinking about other things, you can think of things. You can definitely think of things that are more disrespectful. But they're gross. I don't want to talk about it. But like that, it's like a gateway to disrespect, right? It's not that bad. It's really not. Like, I don't want you to spit on me, and I'll remember it if you do that, I think. Although I can't remember it ever happening, and it probably has happened, so maybe I'm wrong. It's just, it's weird, right? I know, that's like the craziest, lamest way to talk about something. It's weird, right? Huh? But the overall concept, to me, is interesting. That is something that has become the ultimate sign of disrespect. I mean, it's not cool. It's what people do when they've got nothing else to do. What else can you do? I don't know. I'm not going to throw a punch at this guy. I don't like him. I'm going to spit on his shirt. I don't know. I think, to me, the face is way different. I don't know that I don't know. I don't know what I do. I don't want people thinking that's okay, so I guess you got to kick them out. But we're going to change the outcome. I know it didn't matter. They won the game. But we're going to change the whole football game because of that small incident. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I just find it interesting. This is the kind of situation where if I had a regular like radio show with call-ins, I would just be like, "What? So, what do you think of that spitting thing?" Because that's kind of where I am. Like, I'm interested in talking about it. I'll talk to John about it when he comes on to talk about the Eagles, his Eagles. He's our Philly correspondent, senior Philly correspondent. But I don't have, it's like, this is wrong. He should be kicked out of the league. I don't have some, like, over-the-top opinion on it. He shouldn't have been kicked out of the game. No, I guess he probably should have. But then there's context because it was sort of retaliation, even though it wasn't. The video, if you didn't see it, I don't even know how to describe the Dak Prescott spitting part of it. It's like he's being held back by teammates, but not really being held back. He's just kind of there. And then he kind of leans over one of them to spit. That was pretty disrespectful, too. He ended up probably spitting on his friend. But not out of disrespect, just out of, it was an accident. And then Jalen Carter took that as he was spitting at him. And then he walked over, and then Dak Prescott was like, I didn't spit at you. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And he spits on him. And then he gets thrown out of the game. It was weird. It was a weird first 6 seconds of the NFL season. The Bills play on Sunday. UB Bulls play on tomorrow. Today's Friday? Yeah, they play tomorrow. Speaking of the UB Bulls, Scott Wilson and I recorded a UB Bulls football podcast yesterday. It's available on the UB Bulls Insider podcast feed. And it's, 35 minutes or something of Scott and I talking about the Minnesota game that happened last week, and then the St. Francis game that kicks off tomorrow at 3:30 with a pregame show at 2:30, and you should go. You should go. We've got a new scoreboard to check out tomorrow. I'm excited about the scoreboard. I think we're going to watch a lot of things happen on that scoreboard tomorrow because I don't think St. Francis is very good. And on the official broadcast feed thing that we were doing that's like branded by UB and pushed out there by UB, Scott and I were careful to not do any sort of like billboard or bulletin board material. But this is not great FCS team that is dropping out of FCS to go to Division III next year and has, as a program, checked out on football, and that's the next opponent for the Bulls. So read into that what you will. The Bulls looked good against a Big Ten team, and now they're going to play a FCS team that's leaving FCS to go to Division III. I think it should, and the weather I think is supposed to be good. It should be a good day to head to Amherst for a UB football game. You're going to want to see Red Murdoch play. Like tomorrow, he might force the 6 fumbles needed to get him the NCAA record. That could happen tomorrow. It's tough to force 6 fumbles in a game. I don't think it's ever happened. But you never know. Tomorrow might be the day. Let me check on the weather. Let's see what's going on. Weather, hourly, Amherst, New York. Let's see what we're looking at for tomorrow. Just gray. Oh, don't give me that. All right, Saturday, high of 64. That's okay. It's football. Then we're on Friday. Here we go. Saturday. All right. So we'll have the pregame show at 2:30. That means I'll leave here at, let's say, 1 o'clock. All right. What's the temperature? 1 o'clock, 65, mostly cloudy. 2, 3, 4 o'clock, all the same. So the whole game is like 65 and cloudy. That's fine. 15% chance of rain. But I think you're going to have a really good, if you go to tomorrow's game, you're going to get a look at a really good UB program coming off of a tight loss against a really good Big Ten team. And then they're going into this game against a team that lost 29-0 last week to Louisiana Monroe. St. Francis quarterback threw for 34 yards, I think. The running back ran for 35 yards. They scored no points. And UB's got some decent weather. It's the opener. They're coming off a 9-win season. They've got bowl hopes. They've got championship hopes. They've got a new scoreboard, and tickets are reasonable. I think you should go to the game is the point I'm trying to make. I'll be there. Come on out. Just wave to the booth. I'll wave back. It'll be fine. All right. The league said they were going to put special I'm reading the comments now. The league said they were going to put special emphasis on sportsmanship this year. Dak did nothing wrong. Jalen Carter instigated the whole thing, in my opinion. I hope no one ever spits in my face, especially the size of Jalen Carter. That's an instant reason to have to throw down. Arbo says, I'm here a little late, but I'm here. Seems like late is my middle name this week. Arbo, you don't have to, we're not taking attendance, man. You don't have to be here every minute of every day. It's like talking to my mom. I was like, I'm sorry that I haven't been listening to the show lately. I've been very busy during the morning, but I'm happy you've got a podcast version. My mom's 74. My mom is like, oh, I'm glad it's a podcast now. I'm way more into podcasts. What are you talking about? I'm not always in the kitchen to listen. Like, you don't have to be in the kitchen to listen, but maybe she does. Maybe she means, oh, I bet I know why. She's got one of those little magic, like, Alexa box things with the screen where you just tell it. And she's probably like, find my son's show. And they just play it because Alexa's pretty smart. And then if she's not there during the show, well, how about that? How's she finding it? Find my son's show on Pi. I want to know. I'm not going to call her. She doesn't want to come on the air. But I would like to know how exactly does my mom tune in to the show? Anyway, at least I can listen back in the podcast version. Right, you're talking like my mom does, Arbo. Hawk Tua, spit on that thing. Yeah, Hawk Tua. Oh, it would have been so much better if it was Tua. Maybe somebody could do it to Tua, too. Little Hawk Tua action. Hawk Dak. No good. Hawk Tua Dak. No good. We're missing Tua. Let's see. This is a perfect opportunity for Tua to make a name for himself in the league. And he's just not there because the Dolphins aren't going to play in the opener because they stink. All right, I'm going to play a song and we'll talk to John Fuller. What do we got? John Fuller likes cake. Do I have a cake song just sitting here ready to go? Actually, I don't. Are you kidding? I didn't put that on my... I made this whole page of recurring songs that I'm not going to delete. I'm just going to play them. Up. There we go. Here we go. One song, then John Fuller. Scott Wilson will be on today, too. It's Writer Radio. It's episode 160. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll be back after a song with our good friend and Philly correspondent, John Fuller. We'll talk about the Hawk Dak incident and a big win for Philly getting on the board. Stay tuned. It's Writer Radio. All right. We're good. I needed one song, and it was a cake song. It was for John Fuller. He's our senior Philadelphia correspondent. I usually play the thing. Why haven't I played the thing? I should just play the thing. Where is... Why aren't you on the John? I don't have the John Fuller Philly correspondent button to push. I can't do it. I just got to talk to you like a regular person. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. Little groggy this morning. It wasn't expecting the hour weather delay, so wasn't really thrilled about that. But excited about a win. It was good.
Yeah, it was. So it was. I just had to look it up to see what the spread was. It was the 8.5 point thing. I was out last night and. The public just expects Philly to crush Dallas. I think you probably know better that we're talking about a division game. We're talking about an opener. We're talking about weirdness at the beginning of the game. And you're always, I think, especially early in the season, happy to just escape with a win. Are you frustrated at all that Dallas looked like an NFL team yesterday? Because I don't think we expected them to.
A little frustrated. They were a lot better than what I expected. But I also look, the Eagles, and like a lot of teams now, don't play anybody in the preseason. So that was the first time most of those guys were on the field. So I take a little bit of it with a grain of salt. And I do think the whole Jalen Carter thing at the beginning of the game it kind of threw everybody for a loop as well, because obviously he's a monster at that defensive tackle position. And I think that really changed momentum of the game and obviously gave Dallas a little bit of a spark right out of the gate.
I'm trying to remember the Carter situation coming out of college. There was some thought that, like, you don't want this guy, he's a problem, but then he's been no problem at all. You tell me, you're the fan. That's my distant recollection of that guy. Like, he could be trouble, but he hasn't been trouble, and then that happened 6 seconds into the season.
Right. So there was a lot of question marks with him coming out of college because of some maturity issues. There was a situation where he was in a car accident that killed somebody. I don't know if a lot of people know that, which was a tragedy. But he was cleared of any charges or anything, so he didn't do any time. But there was a lot of maturity issues. But I think that's why he dropped to where he did. But the Eagles, I think, were in a good position when they drafted him because they had a very veteran defensive line. They had guys like Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. And I think when they brought him in, they kind of took him, under their wings and just kind of, looked after him. And I think, that really helped him mature a little bit. Well, now those guys are gone. And I think that plays a big part of this. Now, I saw the broadcast. I didn't realize this until I saw the broadcast last night that the Eagles have the youngest defensive unit in the league.
Wow.
Average age is 24 and a half, I think. So
you don't usually get that and a Lombardi trophy in the same year.
Right. So it's like, so I think he's like one of like the veterans now on that defense. I just don't know if he's ready for that yet. Yeah. I don't condone at all what he did. But it happens. But I think that was the first time anything. He has been a model citizen since he's been on the team. Really, no issues at all, and that happened. And unfortunately, that happens, and it's happened to other players. And I immediately thought about that. Remember Roberto Alomar when he played for the Orioles, in the '90s? He spit in the face of an umpire. Yeah, and that's the last time I remember like a spitting incident as big as this.
Newman.
Yes, Newman, right. Yeah, it's Roger McDowell was the second spitter, right? Yeah. Yes, very good.
Do you have any take on the, like, if you were investigating this spitting crime and then you get the footage of whatever Dak Prescott did immediately before it, I had trouble piecing it all together because I was out watching it with no audio. You know, I'm hanging out with a bunch of dudes talking about our basketball season while watching football and mostly dwelling on baseball. Like, it's just total dude night. The NFL season opens, and then that happens 6 seconds in, and then it takes a while before they get the footage of, well, Dak Prescott did something at least remotely similar that, like, helped lead into it. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he did anything wrong. But he also didn't – it's not like he was 100% innocent. Like, the look on his face, at least from what I saw, tells me he was doing some sort of jarring with his opponent.
Yes.
And then the next level, it's one of those cases where, you know, the retaliation gets caught and the initial thing doesn't. So, I don't know. It's no big deal to me, but it's interesting.
Well, my biggest issue with this whole thing is how long it took for them to release the footage of what Dak Prescott did, because they were analyzing that film like the Zapruder film as soon as it happened, right? I mean, they have cameras, angles all over the place. And the fact that they didn't really release what happened until I think even after the break, it was like well into the third quarter that they even said, oh, this might have been what caused it. They knew what caused it, but they also know that Dak Prescott is the face of this league. You know what I mean? And it's like, they don't want, I just have a feeling that they didn't want that shown right away because, Dak Prescott is one of their guys. And I'm not saying that justified Jalen Carter doing it, but if you watch that video, I mean, he spits on the ground, but at Jalen Carter, and he kind of blows him a kiss, kind of gives him a look,
right?
And that's what set him off. And he should have did what he did, but that was what instigated the whole thing. And I just think that's kind of getting brushed under the rug a little bit, and that does annoy me.
Yeah, well, it's for some reason we have decided that, and I've actually read it in writing today, that spitting is the ultimate insult. It's like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's cool, but there's more to the story. And Dak Prescott, for sure, like, did he, in a world where spitting on someone is considered assault, did he assault Jalen Carter? No. Was he being a jerk and taunting Jalen Carter? Yeah. 100% was. Yeah. So then it's the retaliation that gets caught, and that's the retaliation. I mean, I was surprised. Like, thrown out of the game for that is a little crazy. Like, when I saw him being walked up the tunnel before I saw what happened, and maybe everybody did, and then I watched, and when I heard, he spit on him, like, oh, I just pictured like a straight up in the face thing, and it was more like to the side on the shirt. It's still not okay, and I still don't want people doing it, and we still can't have that as how we're opening our NFL season. Like, that can't be the way that they put their business and their whole their big show out there. If you're the NFL, you can't start the season with this. That said, I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal. Is it disrespectful? Yeah, that's what they're in the business of doing, is disrespecting their division opponents in Dallas. Like, hey, I get it. I don't know. I'm not. If I'm because your team won the game. If I'm a Eagles fan, I'm not mad at Jalen Carter. Are you mad at Jalen Carter?
Now that they won, I'm not mad. But if they would have lost, I would have been really mad, because obviously, the Cowboys, he gets thrown out of the game, and the Cowboys immediately just run down the field right up the middle.
Yeah, that was bad.
Carter would have been.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy. And like the next 3 times, they continued to just do that.
I know.
So I didn't like him for a real long time, and then they pulled off the win, and I've kind of forgotten about it.
Do you think there will be?
I really do.
Go ahead.
I think I'm going to answer. I think what you're going to ask.
Go ahead.
I do not think. I don't think there'll be any more. I think he got a suspension, right? He got a 1-game suspension.
Yeah. Because
he didn't play a single snap. So hopefully they don't add more onto this suspension. I think it'd be ridiculous if they did. But again, at the end of the day, this is the first game of the year, and the two of the two of the rivals that hate each other the most in the league. I mean, it was something was going to happen. I mean, there were fights throughout the game,
right?
As well in other areas too. So it's like they hate each other, and there was a lot of build up, and it is what it is.
Right? All right.
I mean, so move on. Want to know?
All right. So what is your overall attitude about this team going into a season coming off of a Super Bowl win? I have no idea what it feels like to enter a season as the champion for any of my teams. And I feel like if the Bills win the Super Bowl this year, there's a part of me that thinks I don't care what happens for the next several years, but That's not true, because I know that even in a bad season, when the Bills, we get to the last game and I want them to lose because it's better for a draft pick, Sunday rolls around and I want them to beat the Dolphins. Like, I care. So I wonder, like, I feel like I would be a little relaxed if my team won a Super Bowl ever the next year. But then I think about, no, I don't know. What's it like?
Yeah,
Tell me what it's like to win, John.
Well, it took a long time for me to have that feeling too. But I will say this: you feel relaxed at the beginning because the Eagles are losing. It's like it's 7-0, 14-7. And then you're like, all right, you talk yourself into it. It's fine. It's one Super Bowl. It's fine. It's okay. They're not going to win every year. But then they take the lead. Then it becomes a close game again, and then you get sucked into it, and you're like, better win this game or else. You know what I'm saying? It's like you at the beginning you talk yourself into that it's okay. They just won the Super Bowl, but then if it's a close game, then your heart's pounding again, and you forget about it real quick. So yeah, you always want to win. And when you win, you get that taste, and you're like, "Oh my God, it's awesome!" You want to do it again. So, hopefully this is the Bills' year. I really do want the Bills to win, for your sake, for all my family and friends' sake.
Yeah, unless it's against the Eagles, then you have to. I don't know what you do.
Which always happened last year.
I know.
It was we had a plan. My wife and daughter are big Bills fans, so we had a plan if it was gonna happen, but did not. So. But I was hated then.
Is today your anniversary, John?
Today is my anniversary.
Happy anniversary, yes. John.
Thank you very much. 21 years.
Good
it's funny
job.
You played that I'm So Sick of You song.
Right.
Peak, which is my wife's favorite song.
Yeah, I played it for her.
Yes, but it also is a little concerning. That's her favorite song. That's her favorite song.
That makes sense. 21. That's a long time. 21 years is a long time.
Yeah.
But you're doing okay. Everything's fine. What else is going on with you? We haven't had you on. It feels like it's been like a month since you've been on the show.
It has been a while, Hard Knocks has been on, so you had some other experts in the field on,
That's true.
So I understand. I'm getting ready for UB football home opener tomorrow, 3:30 against St. Francis. I'm excited for that. Just excited to get the football season going. I was really, I was encouraged by what I saw at Minnesota last week.
Absolutely.
They played very well, and I'm just more encouraged about how the season's going to go. But I'm really. I'm excited about this year. I think we have a pretty special team here.
Want to hear one of the cool new toys I have for my show? I made some new toys. Check this out. Huh?
Oh, nice. Now, is that cowbell or wood block?
It was. I don't know. I did it on the computer. I made it myself. I played it myself.
Oh, you weren't playing that? Oh, that was I got.
No, I've got it. It's ready to go. I can just hit it anytime.
Oh. Nice.
It does sound a little more like a wood block than a cowbell. It's not the point. It's the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
I think you get it. You get the point. So I'm excited that UB showed itself to be certainly the defense is capable against anyone. That was awesome. Everything about the defensive performance worked for me. And once the offense got itself figured out a little bit of a plan for some monsters on the D line from Minnesota. They started moving the ball and it was okay. It wasn't great, but I saw a lot of plays that would have gone for a lot more yardage against a non-Big Ten team. And to the best of my knowledge, St. Francis is not a Big Ten team. In fact, they're an FCS team that's about to become a D3 team. Their quarterback threw for 35 yards last week. Their top running back ran for 36. And it's we've got a new scoreboard. So I think like having St. Francis in to christen the scoreboard could be a fun day out in Amherst tomorrow. It's all coming together.
Yeah, I think it's a good game to debut the scoreboard. Hopefully they'll get a lot of action tomorrow. Obviously, you never want to take teams lightly, but we're a good team. So these are the games that we should just take care of business.
Yeah.
And hopefully get a lot of new guys, a lot of different guys in there, get some guys some experience, and hopefully you can starters play maybe a half, and then get some other guys in there. But it should be a fun afternoon. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we talked about it on the official UB football podcast that Scott and I do. That it's with the new in the last several years, but still the redshirt rules. Like this gives an opportunity to guys you might not see. There are guys that might play tomorrow if things go well. that might play tomorrow in the second half and then don't play the rest of the season, and then we don't see him until next year. So that's kind of fun. Some of the names that we kick around, guys that we see in camp, guys that we see at practice day to day that are kind of bubbling up but aren't ready yet to be full contributors. They might get an opportunity tomorrow if the number ones can do what they need to do, establish a lead, and then let their friends play.
Yeah, well, and if you remember, like when Jaret Patterson's career started, we opened that season in 2018 against an FCS opponent. I can't remember off the top of my head. And he got in that game and late ended up scoring a touchdown and ran it pretty well. And that kind of flipped the script a little bit and got him a little more playing time. And then he ended up, having that incredible freshman year and onto his incredible career. But it's like, sometimes getting on the field and getting some stuff on tape gives coaches, an idea to, see how good you really are outside of just practice.
Delaware State was the opener of that game. September 1st, 2018, a 48-10 win at home against Delaware State right before going to Temple. And that was a decent game. The game at Temple, a 36-29 win. And we've still got footage of you being very excited about that game.
It pops up every once in a while, yes, on the sideline.
You were pumped.
The gift that'll never die.
I love it. All right, I think we can wrap things up unless you've got anything else you need to put in there. But I think we're good. I think we're caught up.
No,
we've got
good.
Our Philly guy. I like that we've got Philly content to actually talk to you about. It occurred to me right before the game. I don't know. I didn't put this in the text, but I sent that to you before the game and before Jalen Carter. I sent you. You're like, yeah, I'm in. And then Jalen Carter got kicked out a minute later. And then I wanted to say, regardless of outcome, I want you on because I either want happy celebratory John or angry Philly John. The Philly comes out in you only when your teams lose in embarrassing ways.
Right, which they tend to do a lot.
I like it.
What's crazy? Yeah, what's crazy about last night is it literally you have the whole pomp and circumstance of their unveiling of the banner and
Boys to Men
trophies, Boys to Men. It's all this. The team comes out, everybody is just in this great mood and hugging and this cheered and great, and then literally 10 seconds later, it's completely over and everybody's miserable.
Yeah,
so
it's perfect.
That's Philadelphia for you. Yeah, it really is.
All right, awesome. That's John Fuller, our senior Philly correspondent. We'll talk to you. I'll see you tomorrow. You'll be full of it tomorrow at 2:30 when we start the pregame show.
Tune in.
All right.
Sounds great.
All right, man.
See you, Brad.
John Fuller. He works at UB, but he's our Philly correspondent. And we'll have him on the pregame show tomorrow when UB is an hour from kickoff. He'll be first. We've got him. We've got Paul Peck. We've got Scott Wilson. We've got Pete Lembo, the head coach. We've got Mark Allnut. I'm barely there. It's like I'm the host of the show, and it's me plus 10 other people. We'll have an offensive player interview. We'll have a defensive player interview. We have, I believe, James Patterson is going to come on the show, former Bulls linebacker. He said he's bringing a special guest. I can't imagine it's not Jaret Patterson, who we were just talking about, former Bulls running back, who recently was cut with an injury settlement from the Chargers. And so it'll be fun to get a little update on him. I'm sure he's hanging out, staying in shape, and getting himself ready to take a phone call at any point if somebody goes down, if a practice squad spot somewhere. But one of the greatest players in UB football history has made a nice little NFL career for himself. Let's see, what is Jaret's situation? He's got to be 5 years into the league, I would think. Let's see. He came out undrafted free agent in 21. So 21, 2, 3, 4. Well, yeah, 1 through 5. That's easy. So this would have been his fifth year in the NFL, with the Chargers first, then the Commanders, then the Chargers. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Washington, then the Chargers, then Washington, then the Chargers. Mac MVP in 2020, Offensive Player of the Year in 2020, Freshman of the Year in 2018, MVP of the Bahamas Bowl in 2019, and just cool. And also he had a decent game once against Kent State where he ran for 409 yards and scored 8 touchdowns. That happened. That happened in 2020. Very few people were there because there was a pandemic or something. But I was in the building. I watched it. It's real. 409 yards in one game and 8 touchdowns. Super cool. So I think he'll be a part of the pregame show. So we got all that. And then the scoreboard is new. And it's the opener. And it's not supposed to. It's only like a 10% or 15% chance of rain. But like 65 degrees, good football weather. And we get things rolling with a UB team that I'm going to keep going back to this probably all year. I feel it because I've said it like twice in the last 3 days. Other than the UConn game, they are likely to be favored in every game for the rest of the season. So they're 0-1. But you need 6 wins to go to a bowl game. I'd be shocked if they didn't get to that. And you probably need, I'm not even going to speculate. They're going to be in the hunt to go to Detroit. There are 4 teams in the hunt to go to Detroit. I guess someone else could creep into the mix. But it seems pretty unlikely that anyone other than UB, Toledo, Miami, or Ohio will be in the MAC championship game this year. So do your job tomorrow. Get your work done. And get set for the MAC opener next week at Kent State. Which, again, like the next 2 opponents, I can say this. All right, John's not here. Scott's not here. I'm not on an official UB broadcast. I can say this. I'd be shocked if they didn't put together 2 consecutive blowout wins. They're going to smoke St. Francis tomorrow, and they're going to smoke Kent at Dick Stadium next Saturday. These are things that, again, I'll just say it that way. It would shock me if it went any other way than a Bulls blowout tomorrow and a Bulls blowout next Saturday. So we're about to, in my mind, the Bulls are sitting at 2-1 heading into week 4. They've got to get it done. Got to go about their business, but I trust that they will. I wouldn't say this if I didn't trust that they weren't thinking this way. I'm allowed to think this way. I'm just a guy who talks on the radio. That's it. The players can't say it. The coaches can't say it. And I can't even say it on the official UB podcast. But I can say it on Writer Radio. This is mine. It's got my name right on it. All right. The chat, and then a quick break, and then Scott Wilson. That is one magic loogie. And then a picture of Newman spitting. Nice game, pretty boy. Yep. Classic Seinfeld there. Famous spitting incidents. Roberto Alomar, Newman, and now Jalen Carter. Brad Ryder is pro spitting. No, I'm not. The record for spitting a cherry pit is 93 feet, 6.5 inches, set in 2004. UMass challenge? No, I'm not. I don't. 93 feet? That's crazy. I'm standing on second base, and I put it into the coach's box on first base with a cherry pit from my mouth. No. Next UB trip, get those pits ready. No, we're not. No. I'll do the donut challenge. I'll do the donut challenge on the way to Kent next Saturday. That's a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts in, I think it's 8 minutes. I won't enjoy it, but I think that one's very doable. It might have bad results. I honestly, I don't think my digestive system has rebounded yet from my poor performance in the pistachio challenge. When I asked the doctors beforehand if it was safe to eat 338 pistachios in 5 minutes, the answer was just, that's a lot of fiber. I'm like, was it safe? That's a lot of fiber. Like, what's that going to do? It's a lot of fiber. I feel like the fiber, I still have not processed the whole. It's been quite the week and a half for me and my digestive system, and I do attribute it to the pistachio thing. Krispy Kreme, I know how that one works. That's just going to be an absolute stomach pain, crippling, like bent over in the middle of the, like I'm going to be trying to do halftime, but also in crippling pain from eating a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts in the van on the way to Kent, Ohio. But I'll do it for you. I'll do it for the listener. This isn't for me. It's for you. I do stuff for you. I'm going to play a song, and then we'll talk to Scott. Songs. Scott loves Anne Murray. I should play Anne Murray. Be right back with Scott Wilson. It's Writer Radio, episode 160.
This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com.
Let's check in with Writer Radio's senior football correspondent, Scott Wilson.
All right. Let's do that then. Scott, is it difficult to remember that when we talked yesterday, that was recorded for the UB podcast, and it's not the same show as this one? Because I was already thinking, like, I feel like I just talked to Scott, but it was like a totally different thing. It was the UB football podcast, which is available on the UB Bulls Insider feed. It's different. It's different from Rider Radio.
There's a lot of spinning plates in the fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to keep them all up.
Yeah.
Let me start by saying the song that you just played.
Yeah.
That is Boats and Hose from Step Brothers.
The BC Boys song?
Yeah, I'm just kind of realizing, like, the beat, everything about it.
Is it really?
It feels like Boats and Hose was based on the beat and that song.
Okay. I don't know that movie well enough. I saw it once and I thought it was funny, but like I didn't think anything of it. And then it became this thing where everybody's always talking about it being like the greatest thing. And I was like, I don't know. And then I watched it again. I was like, oh yeah. And so, it's not like as far as Will Ferrell stuff. Like I don't know it like I know Anchorman. I don't know it like I know, everything's like escaping me. But I don't know
everything that Will Ferrell's ever done.
Yeah, but yeah. Old school. Like I know old school front to back. I've probably seen Step Brothers 4 times. I've seen Anchorman 194 times. So it's like I don't know it the way that other people know it. But okay. Should I try playing it? Let's see. I've got the song right here. Let's do it. There's going to be an ad that we have to wait for to be able to skip, and then we'll see if Boats and Hose is in fact prestige worldwide. Yep, this is the thing.
Boats and hoes, I gotta have me more boats and hoes. Boats and hoes, I gotta have me more boats and hoes. Boats and hoes, I gotta have me more boats and hoes. Boats and hoes, I gotta have me more boats and hoes.
The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. I'll do you in the bottom while you're drinking sangria.
Nachos, lemon heads, my dad's boat. You won't go down cause my dick can float.
We sail around the world and go port to port. Every time I come, I produce a quart.
Put on your life vest, let's drop anchor. There's a nice lady who I like to swank her.
Boats and hoes,
All right, I would have to know it, but I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't. It's not like
It's
super
very
obvious,
similar.
but it's similar. Yeah, I feel that the rhythm is definitely right. I was waiting for that cool. That's a BC Boys song I just recently discovered thanks to, I, for no reason at all, threw on a Beastie Boys album I'd never heard of the other day. And then I was like, this song really stands out. And it's the second or third time I've played it on the show now. And then I realized it's the song that, like 2 weeks ago, my son was like, have you ever heard Make Some Noise by Beastie Boys? I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he sent me a link. I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And then I forgot about it. And then I discovered it myself. And it ends up being the same song. So the kid's got taste. 13-year-old kid's got taste. He doesn't know about Boats and Hose, but he likes the beat.
I also think it's funny you talking with John Fuller,
Senior Philly correspondent John Fuller?
senior Philly correspondent John Fuller,
Yeah.
who you asked him about, you guys just won the Super Bowl. Are you really are you really that into it this year? Like, do you get a pass basically?
Yeah,
Like,
because
are
I have
you
no idea what it's
excited
like.
about this? Right. And I think that he played it off really nicely. Like, I didn't care at the start. And then, once the game gets going, you just kind of want to win. John Fuller is a straight up competitor. Okay. We know this from being on the road with him.
Yeah.
If we go to Top Golf, John wants to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we're here to have a beer and we're here to talk and, hang out and have fun. But John also very much wants to win.
Yeah. Yeah, you can ruin his
Very
trip.
much
You
wants
can
to win.
ruin his trip.
So he's acting like, he's a casual,
Just hanging out.
guy.
Yeah.
Right. But I bet you if you looked at his house, he had his face painted green and when he's talking in his house, he calls them the birds,
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
So he's a hardcore competitor. But I remember the time I beat him one time in Top Golf
Yes, I can
by
picture
just
that.
doing the small chips.
Yeah.
I did the small chips and
He
he's
hated
going
you.
deep and I beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't like it.
He
He
hasn't
didn't
liked
like
you
it one
since.
bit.
He hasn't liked you since then. I
He
remember.
didn't like it one bit. So for him to say he was being very friendly in his answer to you, I guess is what I'm saying. He wants to win with the passion of 1,000 suns.
I think
every game, no matter what.
He's trying to represent Philly, like contradict our opinion of the standard Philly fan. He's trying to do that. He's like, yeah, there are people like that, but I'm not one of them. That's kind of the vibe he's always going for, and I think that's what he was pushing again. He's pushing his Philly isn't just full of a-holes agenda, but we all know.
Yeah, no, he's a competitive dude.
What do you think of that
no
game last night?
Well, I'm disappointed in the weather delay because I think that was a really fun game. And the weather delay just kind of threw a wet blanket on everything and just kind of slowed down the pace of the game. But still entertaining, still fun. You know what Dallas really needed in that game?
Micah
They were
Parsons?
just lacking. They were needing one more piece off the edge to put a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. And I think that they might have been able to win. But instead, he is on the Packers.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones, boy, how about spending all that money for CeeDee Lamb and not Micah Parsons? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Lamb
As a Giants fan, this is amazing. It's great. It's great television as a Giants fan. Now, that also means I had to watch the Eagles win, which sucks. But
right. Something's bound to happen. When you watch a game between two teams you don't like, something is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Someone's probably going to win.
I hate the Eagles less than the Cowboys, so I'm okay with the win. And I know, John, I don't,
right. It softens it a little bit.
Yeah, it softens it quite a bit. But just seeing over the last few years the constant mistakes and ridiculousness out of Jerry Jones is really enjoyable. Really, really fun to watch.
So when you talk about CeeDee Lamb, I mean, I think everybody walks away thinking about two drops, both of which would have been incredible catches if he made them, right? Like there is that part of it. The fact that it happened twice stinks in a game that they lose, a close game that they lose. But I don't know. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm not waking up today thinking CeeDee Lamb can't catch a football. It looked so. Again, I'm out watching. The sound is on, but it's loud. It's a bar, and so I'm not as dialed in as you would be if you're just watching it at home. But to me, it felt like CeeDee Lamb had 4 catches for 77 yards or something. It felt like 3 minutes into the game. It wasn't quite that, but like first quarter, he had 75 yards. And then watching the game, it felt like he had about 200 yards receiving. It ended up being 111 or something like that. But those 2 drops are what stand out. I was excited because my kids are in fantasy football for the first time, and one of them's got CeeDee Lamb, and actually I have CeeDee Lamb on a team, so I was like, the only thing I'm kind of rooting for in this game is CeeDee Lamb, and I was happy with him, aside from those drops, that neither of which I consider a drop, but you do want him to catch the ball, and you don't have Micah Parsons because of him, so I don't know. It wasn't like...
the amount of money they're paying him, he's got to make the catch.
Yeah.
And I know that it wasn't a binary decision.
Right.
I do this, I can't have that anymore. But the last 2 players that they had to pay was CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons.
Right. They picked
and Micah
the other
Parsons got traded, and that's who they needed to win. And CeeDee Lamb is on the other side of the ball and dropping the big catches that you need your highest paid wide receiver to make in the game. And it's just, it's so much fun.
Right.
It's just so much fun to see them always find a new way to lose. It's just a lot of fun. But I thought the game was overall entertaining. I think that's probably what the Cowboys offense is going to be this year, which is going to be run heavy. They got a Schottenheimer now in charge, and I think that's what they're looking for. They're going to run a little bit more and go play action to try and help Dak, and I thought for a large part of the night it worked. Now it was awfully nice to have your rookie or young right guard not have to deal with Jalen Carter because he did one of the dumbest things ever. But still, I don't think the Cowboys are good, but they do have a couple. They got a decent offensive line, and Dak is the 15th, 13th best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's okay. I mean, he's paid like he's incredible, but he's okay. And they're still going to be competitive in some of these games. I just don't think that they're going to eventually have enough to win to make any type of run at any playoff spot, which is going to make it annoying when we have to hear about them every week, no matter what.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I will say they were more entertaining on television than I would have expected, because that is the standard. The Cowboys are on TV regardless of how good they actually are. It's just they're a thing, so they put them on TV a lot, and that looked like a terrible matchup. And, it's division, so you never know. It's going to be tight. But I had fun. I had fun watching them. They were an interesting team to me. Part of it is the fantasy football aspect. Like, I'm watching a guy I've never cared about in the league in CD Lamb, and I know he dropped 2 balls, but I've always liked Dak. I voted him third for Heisman the year that he was a senior at Mississippi State. So I've felt connected to him this whole time. Excuse me. And I think he carries himself well.
Emotional about it.
No, I just had to cough. I like him in general. I don't think he's great, but I think he is good, and he's good. He's good television. So I don't know. Cowboys were fun to watch. Eagles are always fun to watch because they're a good team. But I think the Cowboys, for the number of times they're going to be on TV and we're frustrated by a bad team being on, a pretty fun team. If they can get in, they just hang out in shootouts, that'd be fun. I'll watch a shootout anytime. And that's, like you said, that hour delay. Where would this score have been had everyone just kept, because it was flowing. That game was flowing, just points after points, and it got stalled and just kind of clunked to the end. But I don't know. It was a nice way to open the season as we're just kind of warming up. And there's football tonight. I didn't even realize that until yesterday. There's football today.
Yes, yeah. Chiefs. Is it
Chargers?
Chargers?
Yeah. I'm into that.
Yeah, I'm all about that. That's fun. Especially leading into the weekend where week 2 of college football, the Bulls are finally at home. They've got a real juicy matchup here. New scoreboard, and it's going to be a decent day out. 3:30 kick right in the middle of the afternoon. Doesn't get better than that.
No, I'm ready.
That's fun.
I'm ready for all of it. I'm ready, and the Bills open this weekend too. Another home game Sunday night, and seeing the Bills and Ravens being featured during last night's game, just kind of overall just previewing, and there's a lot to be excited about heading into this weekend. I've got 2 baseball games tonight, so that'll take me away from the Chiefs a little bit, but I'm sure I'll catch some of it. We got baseball tonight, and then football, UB tomorrow, 3:30, pregame 2:30, and then a full day of NFL action, and then the Bills. I like that part too. I like that it's the Sunday night thing because I like easing myself in. So I start with Eagles, Cowboys, then I've got the Chiefs, then I've got college football for a day, then I've got a full day of NFL action, then I've got the Bills playing the Ravens, which is does it get any better than this? I think no.
No, it's fun. How about Hard Knocks? I have not talked to you since the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
All
right, let's do it.
I think the last episode really showed that the entire season was about Josh Allen. It very much just felt like, hey, how much can we just put Josh in anything involving this, please?
The season of the show. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you meant.
And especially the last episode is 60% Josh Allen stuff. And rightfully so. He's the reigning MVP. But it was heavy. I think for me, it's interesting some of the players that were not really focused on. We heard maybe a total of 3 words from Keon Coleman.
I don't remember. Oh, yeah, that's right. There was one where Josh is mic'd up and he talks to him briefly, but I think that was it. Keon Coleman was the main thing I wanted to see in this. Keon Coleman, Cole Bishop. That's kind of where that's where my focus was, and I didn't get any of that at all.
You didn't get much out of the linebackers outside of Buffalo Joe and Charlo.
I barely saw
backups.
Right. I barely saw Milano. I saw him once or twice. Yeah. He definitely never spoke during the show. There was a lot of Deion Dawkins, I guess. But the camera
Bosa didn't say a single word on the episode, on any episode.
I feel like he talked in like a meeting a couple times. I heard him speak.
Possibly.
Yeah, but never like
he
to the
was
microphone.
not.
No.
He's a big free agent signing in the offseason.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, there wasn't any talking to any of the other free agents that they brought in, Ogunjobi,
Right. Hoyt.
Hecht or whatever, Hoyt. I don't know. The Coleman thing feels very much like the Bills said, there's no amount of training that we can put on Keon Coleman that's going to keep him from saying something that might be
Ridiculous. Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we're going to say, please don't do that. On the other hand, that would have been really fun, and that's what you really want to get out of the show is Keon Coleman being himself and being funny and entertaining like he is.
All right. Am I going too far if I say that the ability for the Bills to get through that 5-episode show during all of camp and all of the preseason without really doing or saying anything is a testament to their discipline and their focus? Because it really feels like they said, all right, fine, you're coming in. We can't stop you from coming in. You're filming us, but we need to show nothing. And they went vanilla for 5 weeks of this television show. And I don't know, I'm kind of impressed by it. That if I watch it, I'm a Bills fan, so I like it. I like any behind-the-scenes Bills stuff. But if I'm a fan of the Seahawks or of the Cardinals or something, and I watch that, the Bills are the most boring team in NFL history.
Yeah. There was not much there for the non-Bills fan, the casual NFL fan, besides, having a show that's going to give me an hour of football, and I like football, so I'm going to be watching something that has football.
And at any point, even if nobody's
really,
talking,
overall, not entertaining.
If nobody's talking, I have the ability to do slow-mo shots of Josh Allen throwing a perfect football whenever I want to, and that part was cool. Like physically, even if you are like a Ravens fan that's mad that Lamar didn't get his MVP last year, and then you watch this thing, you'd be like, oh, well, that is a kind of physical specimen that might win an MVP here and there. There's stuff there to cling to, and you can see just how absolutely impressive he is as an athlete while he's not even competing in a game. So, I think you would walk away with probably a little bit higher level of respect for Josh Allen and his physical tools. But other than that, the Bills look like nerds, man. They look like just I don't know. They're not cool. They're cool to me because they're my boys, but they're like the nerd team.
Two other things stood out. One, I think this is the first season I can remember that the cameras were not in the room while players were getting cut.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
That's normally a pretty big part of the show, is seeing that, emotional but also business side of the industry, where it's not just, oh, so-and-so got cut, and then 2 days later you forget. You actually get to see, there's a person here that's being told that their dream isn't going to be coming true at this place.
Right.
And that wasn't there. It was just like they would show him walking into the building and be like, and this guy got cut too.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I'm supposed to see this guy tear up.
Yeah.
The other thing is how very obvious, and I think really, I don't want to say underscored, but I think could have been the main theme of the entire episode, which is the Buffalo Bills, the players, are actually close with each other, and the rest of the NFL is not like that.
Mm-hmm.
You heard players say it several times.
Jordan Phillips, in particular.
Yes,
yeah.
In particular, but even, in that last episode where they have the defensive line dinner, and there are guys there that are like, and I've been around places, and it's not like this. This was actually fun. I got to hang out with my boys, and it felt like we were, it's a job, but it felt like we were having fun. And that is not the way it is other places. And I think part of it, maybe even in large part, is the fact that Buffalo is one of the smaller markets in the NFL. And there isn't, you can't say, I'm going with the wife to Broadway.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's you can go see a show. There's shows every now and then, but the team has really created a really nice atmosphere where it has set itself apart from other organizations, that the players do have that closeness and do have that family-like feel with each other. And it really, I know it's corny, but it really matters in games. It really does. I don't think it's a coincidence that when backups get called into games for the Bills over the last 4 or 5 years, they've done their job and they've been good. That's more than just good scouting. That's those players being absorbed and welcomed into the family. And when they get in there, they are familiar with the other players on the team personally, and they feel invested. And there's very little drop off. That's unique around the league too. I mean, you're talking about, for us, we're a little bit biased because when I say that, a lot of times over the last couple of years, that's meant our guys from UB.
Yeah.
That's Ingram with 2 pick sixes last year, right? Stepping in. And that's because he's made to feel like he's got friends on the team and they actually hang out. It really makes a difference. It really does. If in college football, going back a couple of years, the Georgia Bulldogs could not break through. They had great talent. They could not break through and win. And the year that they won, the coach, Kirby Smart, said the reason and the difference in this team won was because all offseason we made a concerted effort to really have the players get to know each other and spend time together, and not just like corny team building stuff. We're talking about sitting around, having food and talking with each other and sharing where they're from and talking about it. And the players agreed with him and said that was the difference.
Yeah.
That was the difference in this season. And they won a national championship off of it. It's a real thing in football, and the Bills have it. And most of the other teams don't. And it's a really a fun thing to see through Hard Knocks.
I'm thinking I had 14 different thoughts while you were saying that. Now I'm trying to think of the best one to talk about. I don't know if this is the best connector to what you just said, but the little chants that they have, the little handshakes that they have, all the stuff, and at the center of it is the MVP of the league. It's
right.
He is not separate. Like, I'm not under the impression, I don't know them personally, I'm not under the impression that, Aaron Rodgers in his prime was also everyone's favorite person in the room. But it honestly looks like, you got 53 guys on the team. Every time Josh Allen walks in the room, it's like the players like, oh my God, Josh Allen's here, in the same way that like I would be, or my kids would be, or my wife would be if he walked into a store and I was shopping there. It's like they're all in amazement that this guy is there, but it works. Like, he knows he's the best, and they know he's the best, but he acts like he's just one of the guys, and it just, I don't know, it works. Like, all of what
they take their cue from him.
Yeah, all of what McDermott and Bean were trying to build.
It makes what everybody else does okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. They got that right. They've got the chemistry right. You still have to, stop the Chiefs in the playoffs to win. But it puts them in the spot to do it again. I mean, there's a reason that you can't.
I don't think they were more
4 years in a row to the Chiefs, or 4 out of 5 years to the Chiefs in the playoffs without getting yourself to a point where you're playing the Chiefs in the playoffs, and they're going to be at a point where they're playing the Chiefs in the playoffs again, or the Ravens, or the whatever. But they're going to be there again, and it's because I don't know. The vibe is right. The room is right. You just got to make a couple more plays and get it over the top. But they got that part of it correct.
Yeah, I think back to when they showed Dawson Knox returning from camp, and they talked to his wife, and she's like, he comes home, and the day he comes home, he's like, I'm going over to, I forgot who it was. I'm going over to so-and-so's house. She's like, you just spent 2 straight weeks with him. And he's like, yeah, but I miss him. I want to hang out.
Yeah. I remember who it was. It was Josh Allen. And I think it was that was the point that I was going to make. Remember, I said I had a few different things that I thought of. That was the one I was going to say.
Ahead.
I thought it was, in my mind, it was Connor McGovern's wife, and he's been home.
Maybe it was.
He's been home for an hour and a half, and Josh just called and said, "Do you want to watch a movie?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go watch a movie." Like, you were just with him. Like, yeah, I know, but he said he misses us. Like, okay.
Yes.
Like, that's something. It's something. It's not everything, but it certainly helps. So, I don't know. I'm feeling good. Feeling good going into the Ravens game. Although, I listened to the radio. They had a Ravens reporter or something on GR the other day, and then I'm listening, and in that moment, I was like, oh, no, the Ravens they're going to try to win this game, too. Like, it doesn't occur to me that other teams are also doing the same things the Bills are, and they're also trying to win the Super Bowl. It's like, no, the league is about them. The league is about Josh, and there's another team there. They're pissed that they lost here, and they feel like they shouldn't have last year. So I don't know. I'm not predicting the same outcome for the Bills as I am for the Bulls this weekend. I think they can win. I think they should win. I think they're at home. I think we'll be fine. But kind of like watching the Eagles yesterday, you get off to a slow start because you haven't really, the starters haven't really played and they're a little out of rhythm. You could find yourself behind the eight ball against a really good team, and it could be tough to get out of that against a team like the Ravens. But I don't know. It's a coin flip, I would say, for this game.
So you think either team could win?
That's what I think. That's what I think. What do you think?
I'd say at this point right now, I'd probably say it's 50-50.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what a coin flip is. I just said we agree.
Yeah.
We agree. It's like you were making fun of me for making that point. And then you
yeah.
said the same damn thing.
Yeah. Let me get I'm leading into here. I was asked for a pick.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Week. Somebody specifically said Scott Wilson's going to give us a football pick on Fridays. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Pick.
So this is there's some sneaky entertaining good games this week. I know last week in college football you had the 3 top 10 matchups, and that's hard to beat. But there are some sneaky good games going on around the country that if you have the opportunity you might want to flip into and check out, as long as it's not, we're on the radio, so you can always turn the channel.
Yeah.
Obviously anybody listening's got that radio cranked up to 11 and is rolling with you and me and Paul. But Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech, very, very sneaky good game. Vanderbilt is now like a real team. And Virginia Tech lost last week in their opener to South Carolina, but played really well, was in the game to the fourth quarter against a Heisman Trophy candidate in Lenore Sellers. That's a good game. Boston College at Michigan State. That's a sneaky good game. Michigan State just lost their starting safety as well. He's going to be out for the game. Iowa at Iowa State. They're playing for the Cy-Hawk Trophy. Those two teams hate each other. Online, this rivalry is referred to as El Assico.
What?
Because these two teams don't have any offense usually, and it's usually a punt fest. I don't have a pick for that. I would just say you probably are going to feel good if you take the under.
Okay.
If any game Iowa's in, and then especially in that rivalry game, those games are under games. We previewed this a couple of weeks ago. It is going to be the center of alcohol consumption in America on Saturday, West Virginia at the Ohio Bobcats. That game is this weekend. There will be a sellout crowd there. It will be mostly West Virginia fans because they're right there. And it's going to be a wild scene down there. Miami, Ohio hasn't really figured out their offense yet, but they do have a former MAC offensive MVP at quarterback. They are playing at Rutgers. And Miami, Ohio is getting 15.5 points. Now, this isn't my main pick.
Okay.
But that's very intriguing to me. The Red Hawks play defense, and Rutgers last week played the Ohio Bobcats and had to sneak out of there with a 3-point win. I think Miami can keep that one close. I don't know if their offense is going to get – I don't trust their offense enough to make that my main pick.
Okay.
But I'm saying I got my eye on it, and it's intriguing. How about the renewal for the first time in a long time of the border war, Kansas at Missouri? These two schools really hate each other. And we happen to know the head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks.
We do.
Lance Leipold's got a good quarterback. He's got a good quarterback out there, experienced. And the Jayhawks are getting 5.5 points at Missouri, who have an awful lot of new faces on that offensive side of the ball. Lance usually keeps, we know this, we've seen it. These are the types of games that Lance keeps real close. He keeps these real close, if not win. So I'm not making it my main pick, but again, keeping my eye on the Jayhawks plus 5.5.
I'm going to just interrupt you to say you're doing a great job here of people ask you for a pick. And you're like, here are some other picks before I get to my pick. And I like that. I like that angle.
I'm giving you, listen, sometimes if I'm building, here's my main pick.
Okay.
I had to watch the University of Louisiana at Monroe play against St. Francis this week.
A little bit of a step up in competition this week for them.
And they ran the ball fairly well, but a lot of it was in big plays. And their receivers can't really catch, or at least they didn't in week 1 when they were open against St. Francis.
Mm-hmm.
Special teams didn't look particularly sharp. St. Francis blocked 2 kicks on them. And this week, the Warhawks go to Tuscaloosa to face the Alabama Crimson Tide. And Alabama has just heard for a week how they suck.
Yeah.
And how they're no good anymore. And you know what? When it comes to SEC play, that could be true. They could be a big step down. But Louisiana Monroe is not in the SEC. And I think Alabama's got a little something to prove here. I think they got a little chip on their shoulder. Their offense wants to really probably go out there and prove something. This very much feels like a 21 to 24 point first quarter for the Tide. I'm taking as my guarantee this week the Alabama Crimson Tide being underestimated after a week 1 loss to Florida State at home, getting 34.5 points against the Warhawks from Louisiana Monroe.
Lay 34.5 with Bama against.
I don't like the big numbers usually.
No, you're not supposed. That's a pretty square thing to do. But if you recognize the situation like you do, that Alabama, Kalen DeBoer's been hearing about how he doesn't belong there, and there's been way too much talk about the buyout of his contract after 1 game in his second season.
$70 million, by the way.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk there. No, I get that. I get the disrespect. I mean, Monroe won 29-0 against St. Francis last week, and their quarterback threw for like 97 yards or 94 yards or something like that against St. Francis. So, I would think Bama would be a little tougher to deal with.
Those throwing windows are going to get a little tighter this week.
So,
even though I know that Alabama secondary isn't what it used to be.
No, that seems dumber. Looking at this page I have open, just the college football schedule on ESPN, it lists the game, it lists the time, it shows you where you can watch it, it shows you the stadium it's being played in, it shows you the point spread, it also shows you tickets as low as blank for each game. Like, for example, it's showing the UB game, tickets as low as $17, which sounds like a pretty good deal, I would think. And then you get to like West Virginia, Ohio, tickets as low as $107. There was one that was in the 200 range. Oh yeah, Michigan at Oklahoma, 15 at 18. That's a 7:30 game on ABC on Saturday night. That one, tickets as low as $232. How much do you think you think you get in the door at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa for this game being played on Saturday night between Louisiana Monroe and number 21 Alabama? What's your guess on how low a ticket price you can pay to get in?
$11.
$9. You got it right. That's correct.
$9.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the same answer.
Yeah.
Lowest
That's a good
I've seen is 7. That is Southern Illinois at Purdue, and then there are some 9s mixed in. A couple other 7s thrown in there. Bethune-Cookman at Miami is only $7 to get in. Seems like a pretty good deal. Is there another 7? I feel like I saw another 7. Oh, we got some 6s. Oh, if you didn't have anything else going on that day, UConn at Syracuse, $6.
There you go.
Central Michigan at Pitt, $6. Kent State at Texas Tech, $8.
Yeah, that's overpriced.
Florida International at Penn State, $8. Northern Illinois at Maryland, $6. Got some value, man. There's some value on the board.
Yeah, there's big value there.
Yeah.
There's big value. Again, $8 Texas Tech at Kent State.
All right.
Or against Kent State. That's still overpriced.
All right. So your pick is Bama.
My pick is Bama, 34.5 against the Warhawks from Louisiana Monroe. They've got good helmets. The Warhawks got good helmets, but
all right. I don't
think that they're going to match up with Bama here this weekend.
I don't want you to feel any pressure, but I believe it was Arbo in the chat who first requested that Scott make picks. He replied already, and it says, "That's it. Great pick. Betting the farm on the Tide." So no pressure, Scott.
Let's go. Listen, if you've got a, I'm gonna throw it back a little bit to the WEC days here.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying this is a good pick. I'm not saying this is a great pick. All right. I'm saying if your house already has a mortgage on it, get a second. Get the second mortgage and put it all on the Crimson Tide from Alabama against the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks.
It's so stupid, but it's great. All right, man. Are we done?
Well, I heard you earlier this week talk about a Hallmark game. And
Okay.
I wrote one.
I did not want. I want to do the slow, dragged out version. I didn't want to put you on the spot and say, "Hey, do you have a Hallmark game for me?" And then have you go, "No." That's why I said, "Are we done?" I was hoping you'd say, "No, we're not done. We didn't do the Hallmark game." I love the Hallmark game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I got it. No, I haven't been doing anything else this week, so
Okay.
I came up with a Hallmark game
Okay.
for you.
All right.
And I also was spitballing about the fact that there could be a different version of this game
Okay.
where I give you the same movie title 3 times but change the plot,
Ooh.
and you have to pick which is the actual plot to that movie.
All right. I'm going to give you complete license to change the Hallmark game into anything that you want any given week. You just have to. No, I think that's more
I
fun.
got carte blanche.
Yeah, no, you can do. I trust you. You do whatever you want. You just explain, make it something that can easily be explained to me and the listeners about what we're doing for the contest this week, and I'll roll with it. It's not like I'm not a one sport athlete here. I can do lots of different Hallmark games.
All right. So as of right now, it's still the traditional game, the traditional Hallmark game.
All right,
3 movies.
Yep.
You will try to pick out the fake one.
Okay.
All right. Movie number 1, Wine and Bees. After a bad breakup, Braylon decides to buy a vineyard to rebuild his life, but unfortunately knows nothing about farming until his new neighbor and beekeeper Bella steps in to help rescue his new business and his heart.
Okay. Wine and bees.
Wine and Bees.
Okay. Next. That's 1.
Movie number 2 is Truly Madly Sweetly. Natalie, a cupcake food truck owner, has always dreamed of owning her own bakery. Eric has always wanted his own business. When an inheritance throws these two opposites together, neither could have imagined what fate had in store for them.
Okay. Truly Madly Sweetly with Natalie and Eric. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Movie number 3, Feeling Butterflies.
Oh, boy.
Emily's booming butterfly business.
What does that even mean? What is a butterfly business?
Emily's booming butterfly business is delivering monarchs to a birthday party where she meets single dad Garrett. With the help of Garrett and his daughter, Emily's business begins to take flight and love starts to blossom.
Oh, my God. All right. I think...
There you go.
Yeah, all right. So the choices are Wine and Bees, Truly Madly Sweetly, and Feeling Butterflies. Feeling butterflies. All right, I'm gonna say that number 2 is real. Truly, madly, sweetly. I'm gonna say is real. The main reason I think it's real, maybe I shouldn't. It's tough because I show my hand when I tell you how I'm thinking, and then the next week the game adapts to what I say. It's like dealing with AI. So I'll explain why I think Truly, Madly, Sweetly is real. I think the plot of Truly, Madly, read me the plot again. I think it's boring plot, and I don't think you would put that out there as your plot. So let me hear that plot again.
Natalie, a cupcake food truck owner, has always dreamed of owning her own bakery.
Yeah.
Eric has always wanted to own his own business. When an inheritance throws these two opposites together, neither could have imagined what fate had in store for them.
Yeah, I think there's not enough in the description. I feel like you would consider that lazy and you would write it better if you wrote that one. So I'm throwing that one out and saying that that's real. Although I'm screwing up the game because usually I pick the one that I think is fake, and then you tell me, you give me the opportunity to switch. And also I just revealed too much information for that part. Damn it. I think that Feeling Butterflies is fake. Number 3 is fake. Feeling Butterflies, starring Emily and Garrett, or featuring Emily and Garrett, is the fake one. I think Wine and Bees works. Bees, their names are Braden and Bella. Either you thought of that or Hallmark did. But I'm going to say that Hallmark did, and that Feeling Butterflies is the fake.
All right. Truly, Badly, Sweetly. Movie number 2 is real.
It's real.
It is real.
Okay.
You are remarkable in the fact that you are always able to pick right away one of the
real one.
One of the three one of the three you can identify really, really quickly. And that one this time it's Truly, Madly, Sweetly.
Natalie and Eric.
Yep. Natalie owns a cupcake food truck.
Yeah.
So the other two, Wine and Bees and Feeling Butterflies.
Yeah, two very similar. We're both talking about flying. I don't know if butterflies are considered insects or not, but they kind of are. They're flying things. So we've got bees and butterflies. I think I'm not switching. I know you're going to offer me the opportunity. I'm not going to switch. I'm going to tell you right now, Feeling Butterflies is fake. Wine and Bees is real.
Okay. The fake movie is Wine and Bees.
Damn it.
You talk like this is AI adapting. This is me.
No, I know.
This is me adapting.
Yeah, no, you did great.
You know what this is?
You did great on that
This
one.
is like the scene in Jurassic Park where you see the raptor figuring out how to open the door.
It's just like that. I was thinking the same thing.
Feeling Butterflies is real. Butterfly business.
Butterfly business. Maybe, see, in retrospect, I don't feel like you would have thought that there's a thing called a butterfly business. So why would you would you write that, you know?
I picked that because I thought that you would think
that's ridiculous.
I came up with all the alliteration in there.
Yeah.
A
Man.
booming butterfly business.
Oh, see, I didn't even hear that booming business. I didn't hear that. I was hung up on the bees and the alliteration in bees. Like you did that on purpose too. Did you do that on purpose? Did you make them both have names that start with B on purpose? So it could be Wine and Bees with Braden and Bella, or Braylon and Bella, or whatever you said.
You know, listen, there are no accidents in the Hallmark.
God damn.
Wine and Bees.
Yeah, I'm falling
again. Should be a movie.
Yeah, right. It's perfect. I got to get better. I've got to reassess how I'm doing this. I got to get better at this game because I feel like I'm right there. You're right. Like I'm quick to pick out a real one, and then it ends up being a coin flip on the other thing, and I am flipping the coin incorrectly most weeks now. I mean, we've only done this probably 3 or 4 times, but I nailed it week 1, and since then you have just been dominating me, and it hurts. It hurts a little bit. It's a little blow to the ego. Oh well.
Well, you know, it's. I had to get better, and I have.
Yeah, you have.
I have. I'm pleased with
Feeling Butterflies. That's a terrible title. You wouldn't write a terrible title like Feeling Butterfly. I blew it. I'll be better next time.
I was worried that the title would tip me off on this one because I thought that you would very much think Wine and Bees.
That doesn't even make sense.
Well, in my head, it was instead of wine and cheese.
Oh, I didn't
Wine.
even. Yeah, I didn't even see that.
It's wine and bees, and then I saw a bee near my car. Here's the story of how wine and bees happened. I'm listening to you in my car.
Drinking a box of wine.
Hey. Well, I wish. I hear you say, tomorrow Scott Wilson will be on. He'll probably, we'll talk football. He'll probably have a Hallmark game, and I think, oh damn, I don't have a Hallmark game. and then a bee flew by the car.
Yeah.
And I said,
there it is.
Right, we'll do something with bees.
Huh.
How about wine and bees? And I'll have somebody be a beekeeper.
That's good. That's good. I can see Beekeeper belongs on that show, or on that network, rather. I can see, all of these.
Yeah.
The butterfly people, the cupcake food truck people. I am confused about Eric and his, he always wanted to own a business. And now he just does because of an inheritance. What? That seems like a crap plot. Truly, madly, sweetly. Seems terrible.
Yeah, and I don't like the fact that the female lead, I don't remember her name.
I do.
The female
Natalie.
lead, Natalie always wanted to own a bakery, but I mean, she does.
Right.
She does. It's on wheels.
I know. That was part of it too. You would have realized that. You wouldn't have written it that way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got that.
Written it that way.
Yeah. All right.
No, never.
I want to see what else I can find out about this movie. Stick with me for a second. Whoa.
Truly, madly, sweetly.
Whoa. So I type in Truly, Madly, Sweetly just into Google, and it comes up, and I can see, there's the picture of the, what would be the cover or the poster or whatever. But above
the
it,
DVD type thing.
Yeah, whatever it is. But above it, it doesn't say Truly, Madly, Sweetly. It says La Recette du Coup de Foudre. There's a French thing going on, as if this is a remake of a French film. This one's rated G. Good news. Got 6.5 on IMDb. This is a 2018 movie. This isn't even new. This is just I've got the exact same thing that you do. I want a recap of this movie. I want the actual plot, not just the synopsis.
IMDb sometimes has the
that's
deeper.
That's where I am, and I've got the exact words you just read to me. Natalie, a cupcake food truck owner, has always dreamed of owning her own bakery, which she does. It just has wheels. Eric has always wanted his own business. Okay, that's such a generic. I think that's the sentence that allowed me to know that this one was real. You would not have written, Eric has always wanted his own business. What kind of business? Could be anything. He could make balloon animals. He could...
Butterflies.
He could make butterflies, right? He could sell arms, to Iranians. He could do anything. He set his
illegal arm sales.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. It's my own thing.
All right.
I'm putting the shingle up. Yeah.
Listen, there's no bad spitballing,
Right.
It's brainstorming.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, as far as Eric is concerned, he's always wanted his own business, and then an inheritance throws them together. What? How? What could you inherit that would throw you together as a cupcake food truck owner who dreams of a bakery, and then Eric wants a business? I'm interested in this movie because I hate it. It's streaming on Prime Video channels with Hallmark Plus. I don't have Hallmark Plus. Prime Video. I'm not paying $3 for it either. I guess we'll never know. It sounds like a terrible movie, but it's real.
Yeah.
That's what Hallmark gives you.
You don't have Hallmark Plus?
No. I can't have all of them, man. I can't have every... I guess now that Hard Knocks is done, I could drop Max and switch to Hallmark Plus. Or I could just save it for our trips. All right. We're done, man. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. We got a football game tomorrow. We'll talk then, and we'll talk again on this show on Monday. Does that work?
Works for me.
All right. Awesome. Scott Wilson, thank you very much. You're our senior football correspondent as well as our senior Hallmark correspondent. I don't have an outro thing. All I can say is let's check in with him. I still want to do it because I like just pointing out that we've got the Hallmark angle covered.
Let's check in with Writer Radio's senior Hallmark correspondent, Scott Wilson.
All right. Let's say goodbye. Let's try that again. Let's
check
say
in
goodbye
with
to
Radio's senior Hallmark correspondent, Scott Wilson.
All right, Scott. That was Scott. All right. 11:55. Good God. All right, I'm gonna play a song. and then figure out what I have to do before I get out of here, because I got a couple things I didn't get to. Just keep threatening to play Anne Murray. I don't think I'm gonna right now, but I could. If I wanted to play Anne Murray right now, I could. Or I could play Black Crowes, who I like better.
This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com.
All right, we're at 12:03 p.m. and I'm not close to done because honestly, we're 2 hours into the show, but it was, and I love that Scott does the heavy lifting, and then John Fuller comes on. He does. I've done nothing. I feel like I've done nothing today. I call it Writer Radio, and there hasn't been enough of the writer stuff or the stupid stuff that I like. I mean, obviously, we get into stupid stuff with my friends. I'm not saying I don't want to have the people on all the time. I'm just saying the show, it's over. It's over for the week, and I've got this stuff that's sitting on my screen that I haven't touched. And I know it's 12:04, but I got a little more in me. Yes, to those of you in the chat asking about dead fish and cheese, we'll get to that. This one's also water related, and I'm just going to play. This is a news story from CBS News in Chicago. So whatever their local affiliate is in Chicago, that's where this is from. CBS News Chicago. That's what I got. I'm just going to play it. It's 2 minutes and 25 seconds of audio. I know, like I said, there hasn't been enough me in my show. This isn't me either, but I've got some things I want to say about this afterward. Tell me this ain't freaky. Ready? Here we go. Here we go is what I say when nothing plays. That's cool. Why? Why is there no audio? Oh, come on. Where are you? What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Should I just read the story? I guess I'll just read the story. I wanted the audio to tell the story. It would have done it just fine. All right, listen to this one. More than 90 cars were reported found in the Chicago River system. If I said over the last 10 years, you'd be like, that is a lot of cars. If I said over the last 5 years, you'd be like, that's a lot of cars. If I said 90 cars have been found in the Chicago River this year, you'd be like, oh my God, that's a lot of cars. What's going on in Chicago? What if I told you 90 cars were reported found in the Chicago River system Wednesday? Just Wednesday. There's a dive crew called Chaos Divers. CBS News Chicago rode along Wednesday with Chaos Divers, a dive crew searching for the cars. Chaos Divers team travels the country looking for cars involved in cold cases. I bet they've got a podcast. This week, they've been traveling in the Chicago River system. Chaos Divers manager Lindsey Bussick, who you would hear if the audio would play when I hit play. I don't know why it's not playing, but it's not playing. I'll try it one more time before I say all these words. That's on. Turn that up. It should play. It's not playing. Okay. It's fine. We'll survive without it. Be better with their audio, but I'll be the audio. That's fine. All right, we have 10 missing person cases in Chicago, said Chaos Divers manager Lindsey Bussick. But our focus is Edward and Stefania Andrews. It was May 1970, more than 55 years ago, when Edward and Stefania Andrews, both 62, left a cocktail party at a Sheraton hotel on Michigan Avenue. They got in their car and were never seen again. But as the Chaos Divers team were looking for the husband and wife, they came across dozens of other cars. Once we reached that 50, 60 number point, it was kind of, okay, this is even a little more than we had expected to find. Well, yeah. Bussick said the Chaos Divers found more than 90 cars in the depths of the Chicago River system over the past few days. To find the cars, the dive team uses a command center equipped with sonar so they can see the cars before they dive in. They're basically in a boat with a fish finder, except the fish finder is finding cars instead of fish. And I watched the video, and I can't even read Doppler radar. So fish finders don't totally work for me. This sonar thing, finding cars under the Chicago River, at the bottom of the Chicago River, it doesn't really work for me. It's like, look, you can see the wheels there. I can't see wheels at all. I see a blurry graphic interpretation of whatever is happening down there, but I don't understand it. So anyway, they found 90 cars. 90 plus cars. If they locate a car, they can pull it out themselves. But Wednesday afternoon, they called Chicago police to pull out a Nissan sedan that Busick said was damaging boats. The Nissan was a stolen car in 2023. However, there are times when a team discovers submerged cars that solve decades-old cases. Thankfully, we've had the opportunity to bring 20 people home over the last 4 years. 2 of the cold cases were in the Chicago area. In the Fox River in Elgin this past spring, the Chaos Divers found a car containing the skeletal remains of Karen Sheppers, who went missing in 1983. As for what's next for the more than 90 cars in the Chicago River system, Chicago police directed CBS News Chicago to the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, which had not issued a comment as of late Wednesday night. Meanwhile, the Chaos Divers said they'll be in Chicago a couple more days before they go to the next stop. She says it is the most heartbreaking job that you never want to give up. That was basically just a transcript of the actual audio from the story, because most of those words I was saying I've heard before, and I heard them by watching the story. I don't know why the audio isn't working from the from story, but so there's that. Is that the creepiest, freakiest thing you've ever heard? Not living in Chicago helps. But if it was the Niagara River, and it's just these people come in for, I don't know who they are. I should look that up too. I assure you they have a show. You don't just do this. Chaos Divers. It's a sonar and search recovery team dedicated to bringing answers to families of the missing. They have a YouTube channel. All right, so that's what it is. It's a YouTube channel, Chaos Divers. They have 252,000 followers, which is like 252,000 more than I have. So that's pretty good. Maybe I should start looking for cars and rivers to boost my cloud online. ChaosDivers.com. I'll click on ChaosDivers.com. I'll get to the fish and cheese thing in a minute. They got Chaos Divers merch. Of course they do. You can go on Facebook. You can become a member, a supporting member of Chaos Divers, and get sneak peeks of behind-the-scenes chaos just by clicking a link. Your donations go toward keeping us on the road, fuel, groceries, maintenance, but it also helps with our larger purchases that are needed to help us be more efficient and safer while helping families find answers. Our next major purchase will be the supplies to repair and renovate the RV. The flooring in the hallway completely ruined due to a leak. Once it was discovered, we realized the flooring in the bathroom and hallway, as well as the toilet, all need to be replaced. It's a safety concern due to mold, the possibility of someone sinking through the floors, and who's going to come looking? If we lose a Chaos Diver, who's going to find the Chaos Diver? Don't know. They're just trying to raise $3,000. I'm not saying donate to the Chaos Divers, but you can make a $5 donation easily by just clicking a thing on their website. ChaosDivers.com. All right, moving on. The cheese story you're all wondering about. So I did see this briefly on the news. I didn't pay attention to it. The only thing I noticed was the word Ishua, which I remember, Ishua Creek, because we used to go to a camp or something in Kinzua, which I believe Ishua and Kinzua, they go together in my mind. I don't know that I'm right, but in my mind they do. All right, here's the headline. This is from a Channel 2 story that was posted on the 3rd. So this is a Wednesday story as well. We're wrapping up the week. And I'm going long, so bear with me. New York State DEC says Great Lakes Cheese was not in compliance of its discharge permit when Ishua Creek incident occurred. It's an underrated Guns N' Roses album, the Ishua Creek incident. I'm just kidding. That was the spaghetti incident. It has a question mark at the end of it. The spaghetti incident? But nobody says it like that. Nearly a week since a significant discharge from Great Lakes Cheese caused a massive fish kill incident along Ishua Creek, the DEC hasn't provided any updates. All right, Franklinville, New York. Dateline, Franklinville. Nearly a week after a discharge from the Great Lakes Cheese facility in Franklinville led to tens of thousands of dead fish and wildlife along Ishua Creek, the DEC says the company wasn't in compliance with its permits. Oh, really? The DEC on Friday ordered that the Great Lakes Cheese, ordered that Great Lakes Cheese, which is a company that makes cheese, take immediate action after it was determined the fish kill incident was a result of discharge from the facility. They voluntarily halted production Two on your side sought an interview with DEC officials for an update on the Ishua Creek contamination issue, but no one was available. However, a spokesperson was able to provide answers to questions that were submitted. While investigators remained on the scene along the creek over the weekend and Labor Day holiday, there are still limited answers about the incident. Channel 2 specifically asked what was discharged that caused the fish kill. A spokesperson said, and this is a quote, "Water quality concerns are primarily focused on the discharge from GLC's wastewater treatment operations, which handle milk and other dairy processing materials that contribute to low dissolved oxygen and elevated nutrients, temperature, and dissolved constituents such as total dissolved solids." This is why I didn't go into science. Dissolved solids that can affect fish and wildlife survival, particularly during the warm and low stream conditions that existed last week. DEC continues to closely monitor impacts on fish and wildlife, including during this week's anticipated rain events. According to GLC's discharge permit, the company is authorized to discharge 900,000 gallons of treated wastewater per day. The discharge must have a pH level between 6.5 and 8.5, and the water temperature cannot exceed 70 degrees. Additionally, the settleable solid level that is discharged must be below 0.3 milliliters per liter, and dissolved oxygen levels cannot exceed 5 milligrams per liter. Each month, GLC must submit its discharge monitoring reports to the DEC. According to a spokesperson, monitoring indicates the facility's discharge was not in compliance. The DEC, however, did not say whether the company was not in compliance only the day of the incident or if there's been a history of noncompliance. Right now, DEC has not released any testing results from the fish kill incident. However, the agency is monitoring the creek and nearby drinking water sources, such as private wells. This is why you want to live where people live. Drinking out of a private well. You got to rely on the DEC to monitor the cheese company's discharge. It's killing fish. You're just better off on just regular. You don't want a well. I don't want a well. While it's possible they could face a penalty as a result of the discharge, the DEC did not elaborate what the penalty could be since the investigation is ongoing. Production at the facility remains halted, and the DEC spokesperson says that, quote, "No wastewater is being discharged to the water body, and DEC is closely overseeing all modifications being proposed to prevent any future discharges that could damage natural resources. The public is encouraged to report sick or dead wildlife to DEC Region 9 office, excuse me. There's a phone number there. I don't think we're talking to a lot of people in Franklinville as a part of Writer Radio right now. Story is interesting. I wish there were more details. I don't have anything funny to say about it. I wish I did. I don't. Sorry. It's weird. It's the whole story. What the hell is in cheese making that kills fish and mammals? If it was low oxygen, like they're claiming, how are muskrats and beavers dying? See, I don't have the story about the muskrats and beavers dying. I just have the Channel 2 thing where it says fish and wildlife. Jay Miller, I went to college for earth science and I like to fish, so I'm very curious about this story. Yeah, me too. And then, speaking of fish, someone calling himself Largemouth Bass says, Scott Wilson is by far my favorite Brad Pack member. I like that, the Brad Pack. That's fun. I don't know that I'm going to use it because it seems a little, I don't know, saying my own name is just, yes, I call my show Writer Radio, but that feels bigger. It's the alliteration there. Brad Pack is funny. I would need other people to start referring to it as the Brad Pack, and then I would adopt it. But I can't name it that myself. I know you just did, but it's one message, and then it would just be me naming my friends the Brad Pack, implying that I'm the leader. I'm not the leader. I'm just I'm a vessel for all these interesting, knowledgeable, intelligent, funny people to get their thoughts on the air. All right, we've gone 17 minutes long. I'm sorry that the fish cheese story wasn't as interesting as I had hoped. Maybe if I look into it, I'll have more details. We can talk about it next week. It'll be more entertaining, more fun. I don't know. I do know this. I have been talking. This is episode 160. So I did 100 episodes on the radio, and now I've done 60 episodes for you for free. I have not made a dime off of doing this show every day. I have declared that this is my job, but it is a very it's a no-paying job for the last 60 episodes. That will change as of Monday. I don't have anything signed, so I'm not going to say give any specifics, but it appears that unless something weird happens today, we will have our first sponsor on Writer Radio as of Monday. And my conversation with said sponsor revolved around the fact that he's going to get so much more for his business out of me because he's the first one, that he's going to pay X number of dollars to be mentioned X number of times on the show, and the dollars are going to stay the same, but the number of times that our first sponsor is going to be mentioned is going to inspire someone to be like, can I get in on that? And then we'll start building the sponsor base, which is what we really need to do in order for the show to be sustainable. So that's coming. I fully expect that Monday's show will be sponsored, and that will go from there, and others will want to jump on board afterwards. So it's exciting news for the prospects of Writer Radio continuing to exist and growing and becoming what I want it to be. We need one to get it started, and it looks like we've got one. So I'm being very serious now. I know I screw around all the time. That's what we need, because I want to do this, and I want to keep doing it for you, but I can't just do this for free. I have a mortgage and a wife and 3 kids and stuff. I can't just hang out for the rest of my life doing a show in my basement for nothing. It needs to be a real business, and we're getting there. I have said for a while it would take time. I said that at the radio station too. It's going to take time. We got to build the show, and then we'll turn it into like a profitable endeavor. And that starts on Monday. So I'm excited about that, and I'll be back with you then. Between now and then, though, you can find me in various places. First of all the show, all the podcast episodes exist online. Spotify is where they start, but then they get spread out everywhere else. So I recommend Spotify because that's where it is first, but it goes everywhere else. It's also on YouTube. Just type in Writer Radio. Writer is R-I-T-E-R. You know that because you had to find me the first time, so I don't have to spell my name for you anymore. Look for it anywhere, and then anywhere you see it, subscribe to it, like it, comment, review, do the positive things. You guys are the core here. The live show is while I think of it as almost a gimmick, the live show is the core people, but the growth, it comes in podcast form. So spread the word, please. Continue to do that. And when you start hearing what we're doing for client number 1, I think clients number 2 through 11 are going to show up pretty quickly, and then we're off and running. So very excited about that. Great news from a show perspective, and that just means it keeps coming. And also, I'm excited that Monday will be the first time in, I think, like 15 years that I've had a radio show. I know it's not the radio, but you know what I mean. I've had a show the day after a Bills game. Like, I have not done in season, the Bills are playing, let's talk about it stuff in forever. Writer Radio episode 1 came the day after the Bills lost to the Chiefs. And I thought, all right, the first 2 weeks of the show on WLVL are going to be me getting ready for the Super Bowl. This is going to be awesome. Instead, it was another heartbreaking loss, and then I just started the show. So I thought I was going to start this show as like kind of a football show. It was going to be the day after the Bills locked up a spot in the Super Bowl, and we were going to have 2 weeks leading up to it. Didn't happen. So I guess, yeah, technically I did do one show the day after a Bills game. That was after the last Bills game. But they're starting a new season, and we're here. So I started getting in touch with people around the league. Like, we're going to get a little football heavy. It won't take away the fun stuff. I'm here for the fun. But the football, that's a nice base for a show. Like, I'm a Bills fan. You're a Bills fan. Let's go. And that happens this weekend. So in addition to all the college football stuff, the UB, specifically the UB football stuff, I'll have 2 hometown football games to talk about on Monday, in addition to everything else that happens in the world of football. I mean, we've had 1 NFL game so far this season, and it led to 17 different topics of conversation. Much of it about spitting, but there was a lot there. So I'm excited football is getting rolling for real. Bulls with their home opener tomorrow, 3:30. You should go to the game. If you don't go to the game, or if you do, pregame show on the radio, AM 1520, begins at 2:30. And it's me and all the other people you hear on the show regularly. Not all, but most. Scott and Paul Peck and John Fuller. And then we'll mix in players and coaches and the athletic director, all of that tomorrow, 2:30. There's also a UB Bulls Insider podcast that Scott and I recorded yesterday, got put out yesterday afternoon, that you can go find. I recommend you go subscribe to that as well. It's called UB Bulls Insider. Not inside her, insider, like an inside person. UB Bulls Insider. And Scott and I are on that. The latest episode of that just went up yesterday. So a good preview of the game for tomorrow. If you're going to go, you don't know a lot about the Bulls, tune in. When Scott is on this show, we do talk about UB Bulls football, but we don't get as in-depth because I recognize most of you aren't here just for that. You're here for the fun. So I want it to be fun. We're a little more serious, a little more dry, but it's a good presentation. And that's available to you, too. So I'm all over the place. I'll be live on the air tomorrow at 2:30. I'll be back with you live here Monday at 10 o'clock. I mentioned the sponsor thing. Some guesses. Chico's Bail Bonds? No. You know Long John Silver? No. Although I think I told this story. I did find myself at Long John Silver's again, just not the Batavia version. They had one at the Mall of America, and I ordered a bunch of hush puppies that I thought I'd share, and only Paul Peck would eat one. So I ate 11 hush puppies. The same day as the pistachio challenge, I ate 11 hush puppies while walking around the Mall of America. That's what I did that day. How was your trip to Minnesota, Brad? Well, it got pretty wild. I ate 100-something pistachios in the morning and talked about it, and then we went to the mall. And we had lunch, and then for dessert, after lunch, I had 11 hush puppies. Another one. That's great news, Brad. Yes, it is very, very great news. Largemouth bass. And I hope it's a pizza place. I can support the heck out of that. It's not a pizza place. It's not a pizza place, but you'll see. We're going to make this thing work, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking around long. Not until 12:25. That's too long. I got to get out of here. Got to play a song. Got baseball tonight, too. 2 baseball games. See, when football comes in, you don't hear about the baseball. We were supposed to have 2 baseball games last night. They got rained out, which is good because I was going to have to skip out on the second baseball game to go to a basketball meeting because we have a basketball league, too. And then at the basketball meeting, we hung out and watched football and also brokered a little bit of a deal for our first sponsor. So a lot of stuff going on. Very happy about this and happy to start getting some money rolling in for this show. We deserve it. Don't we deserve it? We've put in 160 episodes. That's 320 hours of Writer Radio. It's time somebody's like, hey, could you mention me on the show? Because I listen to it. I like it. I think people believe you. Yeah. I explained also. I thought I was done, but this is serious stuff. And the people are sticking around 26 minutes after the show is over officially. Maybe you want to hear it. So you can just drop off if you want, or you can just listen. I got another minute or so to go here, I think. To me, the best form of advertising has always been a talk show host speaking about a product. And this goes back to I was a naive, high school or college student the summer that I started listening to Howard Stern. I was working for National Fuel as a summer job. I don't remember if it was it might have been between senior year and freshman year. It might have been between freshman and sophomore, somewhere in there. I worked in the engineering department of National Fuel for the whole summer. And I mostly made copies of maps and plans and things. I hung out around a color copier a lot. There were 2 copiers. There was an awesome color one that I used to copy CD covers and make posters for my dorm room. No, it's between sophomore and junior year because it was not my dorm room. It was when I lived on Court Street in Geneseo. So anyway, that summer, mostly I hung out in a copy room and I made copies of giant maps. They're big, 4 foot by 8 foot maps, maybe. That might be too much. Maybe 3 by 6. I don't know. There's this massive copier, the size of many rooms, that we had to run these things through. But there was also this really high tech at the time color copier. And I just would hang out and make copies, and I would listen to Howard Stern. And the two things I couldn't get over listening to Howard Stern were how much he loved mattresses. It was like 1-800 mattress or Dial a mattress or something like that. He really loved those, and he really loved Snapple. And at the time, I was not media savvy. I didn't understand that Howard might not even like Snapple. Snapple is just a sponsor of the show. But listening to a talk show host, you gain trust in that person. Like, you don't keep tuning in if you don't believe what you're hearing, right? So Howard Stern talking to me about Snapple made me think, wow, this guy, he's smart. He's got a lot of good ideas. He's funny. I like him. And he likes Snapple. And maybe I must like Snapple. And I bought into it. And it was years later. I was like, wait a minute. That wasn't Howard Stern just talking about Snapple. That was a paid promotion. But it's very believable because, and again, I don't want this to sound like Howard Stern was lying. I bet he liked Snapple, but he didn't love it enough to talk about it every day for 5 minutes like he did on the show. And it was seamless. It wasn't a commercial. It was just Howard Stern talking. And so that, to me, has stuck. This is 30 years ago, and that has stuck with me, that if I believe in the host, and the host tells me about something, I'll try it. I'll listen. I bought stuff when Adam Carolla first started his podcast. He had a couple different little sponsors. I bought this thing called the Man Grate. I believed in it. He talked about how good it was to replace your chintzy grate on your grill with this massive hunk of steel, and that your steak would be better. And until they rusted out and didn't work anymore, I was using those things for a couple of years. It was just because, I don't know, I was supporting this guy who was launching this thing, and I liked him, and I liked what he was doing, and I wanted it to succeed, and I wanted the show to be on longer. I wanted to keep going, and it's still going. He's 18 years in or something with the podcast. And that worked. That's like how he got off the ground, was having a couple sponsors and people who are like, yeah, all right, I'll try your thing. So I encourage you to support the businesses that support the show, because that's the lifeblood of the whole thing. I think it applies to radio also. Like when I was a host on GR, if you wanted to buy advertising with the station, you could, but then for an extra chunk, instead of just buying advertising on the station, you could buy a person too. And that person would be your spokesman. They still do it. It works. You know, whatever the thing, think about if you listen to the radio, you think about a person, you could probably think of a product that they've been pushing. And if you like that person, well, give the product a try. Give the service a try. That's how the whole ecosystem works here. So that's all. That's my little, I'm a little too serious right now. I don't want to be serious. Let's play something stupid and get out of here. Why is my mouse not? There it is. Okay. What do we want? Recurring songs? Yeah, I'll just play something I always play. Talking Heads? Sure. All right. Thanks for listening to Writer Radio, episode 160. We'll be back and sponsored on Monday with episode 161. Bye.
What are you doing for lunch? I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're going to go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
I don't know. Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
Will you get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?